Sometimes life just isn't lifing. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a story of how I've sometimes felt like my life just wasn't lifing. This was a few years back, and I want to share about what was going on and how I managed through that difficult period of my life. Hi guys, my name is Sisi and I'm a Ugandan medical doctor working in the UK. And just as I said that, I remembered that this was once a huge dream of mine. Such a huge dream. And it's a reminder to you as well that wherever you are in your life, remember that at some point, whatever you're living now was an answered prayer. So there was a time you are praying for all this that you have right now and you've got it. So be grateful for that. But also, you're probably living someone else's dream. Because I remember I was talking to someone else and they were like, that person is living our dream. And then I realized, actually, I'm also living my dream, but I'm also living someone else's dream. If you feel like I'm living your dream, let me know below. And I can encourage you. Also, which part is like your dream, so then I can help encourage you in that direction too. I have a few notes on my phone so I don't forget. So I remember all my talking points. So back in 2016, when my medical internship was coming to an end. So I graduated in 2016, actually in January, but internship had started in 2015, I think July, or was it August? I'm not sure. But internship was due to end in maybe August, I think, of 2016. And I remember feeling so lost and confused in around December time, or not even December. It was like around September, October time there, 2016. I remember feeling so lost, so confused. So what had happened was that when I was in medical school, I wanted to go abroad. I really wanted to go abroad from as far back as I can remember. Initially, I had applied to do my undergrad, actually medicine in the UK. And I did not get medicine. I was only given pharmacy. And I really wanted to go. I remember I had convinced my mom. My mom had convinced my dad. And I was like, yeah, I can do pharmacy. I don't care. Let me do pharmacy. I even spoke to a few doctors who were telling me, both of them, there were only two. And we had gone to see the doctor on behalf of my grandmother, actually. And both of them had said they would encourage me to do pharmacy, don't do medicine. Medicine is stressful, there's no money. I wish I had listened. Just kidding, not really. I'm happy I did medicine. So then I told my dad, me, I want to do pharmacy now. Let me do the pharmacy. Give me pharmacy at Nottingham University. And then he said, no, you should go where they're giving you the course that you want. So he said, no, I'm doing medicine, wherever they're giving medicine. And so they're giving medicine in Macquarie University. And I was like, okay, fine, let me go and do medicine. In my first year of medicine, not even in the first year, like in the vacation time, there was a company, an organization called UNISERV in Uganda that helps people to apply for different universities abroad. And I remember talking to the guy there and he told me, yeah, I can probably get you medicine in the UK. And then he actually did get me an interview with a university called Kiel University. And by that time, I had started campus first semester. And I was like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to leave my boyfriend. Edward, it was because of you, Mnange, that I said, no, I'm not leaving. So he gave me a call, I remember. And he's like, I've got an interview. You should come for the interview. You've basically got it, because my grades weren't that bad. I did well. I had an A and two Bs. Although for medicine, like why they had rejected me, the universities I had wanted, they wanted two As and a B. So these people tell me that they think my grades are good enough, and yeah, they called me and I refused to go for the interview. I was like, no, I'm happy here, because now I was happy. I was enjoying life, you know, the freedom, going for bazaar. Do you remember bazaar? Going out. We used to go out so much. Oh my gosh, I used to go out every weekend. I would be out partying, drinking, living the life. I have no regrets, by the way. And in the week, I would study really hard, and like my reward would be to go out on the weekend. So anyway, I refused to go for the interview. And then 1 year later, I realized it's not that great. I started realizing that actually it's really sucks. Now I want to leave. So I went back to that organization called UNICEF again. I told them, you know what, I think I want to go. Maybe you apply for me or help me apply. I can as well repeat medicine in the UK. And then the guy told me that actually my grades weren't as good anymore. Like for that year's intake, I could have got in, but now the competition was even tougher. They needed, I think, at least 3 A's, not even just 2 A's, which I didn't have. I couldn't go back and resit A level. So I was like, okay, fine, it's fine. Let me do my medicine. I'll go abroad later. So what happened was that now this is the time I found out about the US MLEs, and then for the US, I found out that you need to have a clinical attachment. There was some guy I had a friend. Well, I got the USMLE pamphlets, like I think a question bank. I print them out. Then someone sees me in school and asks me, "Are you studying for USMLE?" I say, "Yes, I want to study." Then he tells me he has a friend who's in the US, who's a Ugandan doctor. I was like, "What? We need to go and meet this guy." So we go and meet him at some place in Wandegea, because I lived in Wandegea. I lived in a hostel it was called the Kamwesi Hostel back then. And anyway, so he meets us at some Kafunda joint. It's the best description, because I remember we had to walk down the stairs to go to that place. And then he tells us about the US, how it's amazing. I think it was like in New York or something. And I was so inspired. I was like, yeah, I want to go abroad too. I want to go to the US. So for the US, I had to they said you have to have some experience there, like a clinical attachment. So I started reading really hard, because I knew I want to go for an exchange program. Because an exchange program was like a free clinical attachment of sorts, while you're still a student though. So I start to work out for that, and in the end I didn't get it. I spoke about this a little bit in another video when I was talking to Kenneth, who did go, by the way. And I will link that up there. You can go have a listen about that story. I feel like I have meandered so much in this story. But anyway, I think it's important, because fast forward to now, I'm planning to go to the US. So along the way, in like maybe 4th year, I find out about Canada. So now my mind switches to Canada, and I was misled. So I found a Canadian, well, he was a Ugandan psychiatry professor who had done his residency in psychiatry actually in Canada. You might know him. He's called Professor Musisi. So he was one of my mentors. So I find out about him. I introduced myself to him. I tell him my plans. Then he told me you can do it. He even showed me he still had his residency badge for when he was in Canada. He showed it to me. He told me about all the good things there, how the training is so good. I told him what about the cold. He said, you get used to the cold, don't worry about it. So he made it sound so easy. And then he also encouraged me so much. And so he told me his steps of what he had to do. But remember, at that time, it had been 20 years before. So imagine how outdated the information was. And also, I don't blame him. Obviously, I blame myself. I should have gone to the website and looked for the up-to-date information, which I did try, but I just found it so hard to like internalize everything. I couldn't understand everything. It was so confusing, which is why I also started this channel, to try and help other people, because when you've gone through it, it's easy. You can easily just explain it. Or someone can read the website and they'll still fail to get that point. So anyway, I read the whole website and I saw that, okay, step 1, do this exam. So I start applying for that process. It's a long process even before you apply for the exam, as you will know if you're in a process for anything, even UK. They want to first see your primary medical qualification, verify that. So I gave that to go through all that process, and then I was due to do my first Canadian exam in 2016, which I did actually. Maybe in March, I don't remember. So the first Canadian exam could be done in Uganda. So I did the exam there. And then I was on track to start my Canadian residency, would be in, because they only start over in July or something. So the way it was, I was going to have like a period of a year whereby I finished my internship, but I'm not ready to start my Canadian residence according to my plans, which eventually didn't work out. And I made another video about that, which I will link there if you want more details on that. So this time round, I'm like, okay, I have this year gap. What can I do? I think I don't want to be in Uganda. I just want to be out. So I applied for an MSc in global mental health in the UK. So in my mind, I was like, as soon as I finish internship, I'll go for my MSc, just 1 year, because UK has short MScs. And then after that MSc, I'll go for start my Canadian residency. So now in 2016, I finished my internship and I applied for a visa for Canada, and I was rejected. I didn't get the visa. And then on top of that, not getting the visa, I also realized around the same time that in order to be eligible for Canadian residency, you have to be a Canadian citizen or have permanent residency, which I did not have. So either way, it was a dead end. I just felt like my whole world has collapsed. Like I had all these plans and they were not working out. And then on top of that, my UK things, I hadn't gotten a place. And then later on, I got a place. I was accepted, but I was only getting rejections for the scholarships I had applied for. So I had no scholarships. I couldn't go to the UK either. And then on top of that, I was working in a job I didn't love. So I was working in a clinic, which for me was not something I really wanted to do. I didn't enjoy that life of like seeing patients. They've come in with just coughs and colds, of which it's really important work. I don't like, I'm not putting it down anyway, but I did not enjoy it personally as me. And just working in a clinic, private clinic, and then patients are so entitled. They're entitled also here in the UK, but I remember like they basically bossing you, telling you what to do. I want this blood test, I want this, and like you don't have much power. I wanted at least to work in a research job, you know, like those jobs like Muju, MJAP. If you're in Uganda, you know those jobs. I applied to all those jobs. I didn't get any of them. Then I applied to a job in as a research MO in Global Health Uganda, and I didn't get that job. And my friend got that job, and I was so happy for her. But then I was sad for myself. And then I continued the whole feeling of confusion and lostness and sadness. And I just felt like my life was not what I wanted it to be. It felt so depressing. And I didn't know what to do with my life. I felt so confused. I even started looking into, I went to someone who tells you the future. He's called Father Raymond, actually. He's a Catholic priest, but here he can tell you your future. So I was like, let me go and tell me my future, of which I don't think it's good. I'm not encouraging you to go and try to find out your future. It's not, you're not supposed to know your future. Like a lot of times, life doesn't make sense until it has passed. Like you can only live your life forward, but sometimes it only makes sense looking at it backward. So when I look back at that confusion, I'm starting looking for answers. So I got to see him, and it was a long line, and there was a lot of sun, a lot of heat, and there were so many people, and you go in for like seconds. And so when I reached there, I reached then he asked me, what do you want me to pray for? And I told him, I just want to be happy. And then he told me, you're going to be happy. Like, I have no doubt you're going to be happy. And he was right, because I honestly am so happy. I really am. Then he now told me, where is your boyfriend? Oh, where is the boyfriend? I'm like, he's there. Then he says, he's going to propose by Christmas. And I was like, what? So I got so excited. And then this gave me something to live for. Not live for, but something to get excited. I was like, you know what? Maybe if my career things are not working out, maybe I should go into marriage and motherhood and all that. So I started waiting for my boyfriend to propose. I waited for my boyfriend to propose. So he told me by Christmas, and then I think this was September now. So so October, November comes. His birthday's in November, and I'm like, let's go to Ginger, because I'd always wanted us to go to Ginger for like, you know, a touristy trip. So we go to Ginger, and in my mind, I'm like, maybe he's going to propose. He did not propose. Like, oh, nah. Like I wasn't going to tell him that, excuse me, can you propose? Although we had talked about like getting married so many times, and we'd been engaged we'd been engaged like 3 times already. I had like 3 different rings, but like it was never really serious. It never felt like, yeah, this is a real proposal. So we've been together for years and years. So we've made another video together, which I will link up there. You can go have a look if you're interested. So anyway, he doesn't propose. Then on Christmas Day, which was the deadline, I go to church with my family, and then we go to Tuskys one day here to buy bread, because we love their yellow bread. And who do we find? My boyfriend, Edward. I'm like, is he going to propose? Today was a deadline. He did not propose. But then I just said hi, and then he met my mom, hi, and we went on. And that was the end of that dream. Also, I was like, this also hasn't worked. And I just think that if you're in a period of time where you're lost and confused, try not to move too much out of it, and try and just enjoy where you are, because wherever you are, there are things that you can enjoy. So at that time, I remember I reached a sense of acceptance. Accepting this is my life now, and deciding to enjoy my life as it is. So I really tried to enjoy what I had available to me. So for example, the country. That was actually my last year in Uganda. That was my last full year in Uganda, and I wish I had enjoyed it more. So we went to Ginger, which was really nice, and I enjoyed that, and I'm happy I did all that. But I wish I had done more things like that, of enjoying the country where I am. I was feeling stuck and like I want to get out, but I was not enjoying that country as much as I could have, eating as much food as I could, you know, just enjoying where you are, because whatever you're in, whatever lost and confused state that you're in, there will be things that you can enjoy where you are. Staying at home, where you have a housemaid, where I never used to wash my clothes, iron my clothes, I just put them in a laundry basket and they wash them. Looking back, I'm like, there was some nice things about that. It was a nice time. I was staying with my parents at home. Like, I'm never going to live with them again in that way, whereby I'm a child of the home. I was the only one at home. All my siblings were like elsewhere. Most of them were abroad. In the end, eventually, I enjoyed my life. I enjoyed that car job that I was in. I was working at SAS actually in the different branches, and I've heard rumors of how they are still not paying people. Even then, they were not. Imagine. But one of the branches was near my home, And it was really nice because we didn't have patients. It was a Lweza branch. Back then there were no patients. So you would go there and then you just watch YouTube videos. So I did a lot of research. I did research on scholarship applications. I really perfected my scholarships. I worked on my scholarship applications. I learned how to do my hair in those kind of jobs because I was working there and some other job elsewhere, because you know that's how it is in Uganda. Most people work two jobs. So I was working in another clinic which also gave us internet, so I would learn how to do my hair. I learned how to do natural hair. I learned about my applications, like how to work on my applications. I would watch videos on how to. I applied to so many different countries. I applied to Sweden. I got into different universities. I applied to Canada again, but for MSCs. I applied to so many places and I used that time in the best way. Like I tried to find ways to get out of the situation I'm in, but also enjoy where I am. So I started even enjoying my work when I would go to work. Then I applied for other jobs. So eventually I got a research job in Global Health Uganda and I went there. And yeah, so when I was there, then now after a while, my husband actually did propose, my boyfriend rather. He did propose after a while when I'm no longer even so much fixated on that. We got engaged to get married, and at the same time I got a scholarship this time round, yes, for the UK. And then I got married. Like the next year of 2017 was now the year that my life took a turn. Like from all this pain came so much joy, and everything started coming at once, you know, like all the good things. Even at some point I remember talking to a friend before I traveled to come to the UK, and at that time, I remember feeling like there was too much good happening. I was worried. I was like, I didn't feel like, do I deserve all this? And she told me, yes, you deserve all this and more. So even you in your lost and confused state, you do deserve all the good things, and they're going to come. Because sometimes it feels like when it rains, it pours. Like everything bad is happening. That's how it felt. But also when the good things came, they felt like they also just came at once. That is my prayer for you, that you too are going to have the same experience. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to watch more videos from me, make sure you subscribe. If you want to watch a video about me and my love story of me and my husband, then watch this video here.